Hello, fabulous superstar Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of March 2025. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month features powerful energies at play, and the part of the sky, for the most part, that's very lit up now has to do with what's happening in your heart of hearts in every area of life. Now, there is a love connotation to this, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. But outside of that, we are looking at what it is that makes you happy, what it is that helps you to feel emotionally fulfilled, creatively fulfilled. What does luck feel like to you, look like to you? It has to do with what it is that you are genuinely passionate about and how it is you might want to go about turning it into a entrepreneurial endeavor. The children in your life are covered here, along with you feeling like a big kid. This is a part of the sky where we find self-actualization. And this part of the sky is lit up in all kinds of ways and sort of ends at the end of the month in this crescendo of a solar eclipse that is powerfully and fortunately aspected. So there's a lot to talk about there. But before we do, there is this anomaly in the mix, and that is a lunar eclipse happening on the 14th of the month. And this lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse at that, is taking place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with career, social standing, life purpose, and your understanding of a higher, more loving vision for your life. It is success as you uniquely define it, achievement that matters to you. Bosses and people in positions of authority are covered here as well. So this is a very interesting lunar eclipse. It opens up eclipse season, a time when the ancients believed that the veil between the worlds was especially thin. It becomes that much easier to recognize the spiritual lessons playing out in your life. But for all that, what we also get is this full moon, total lunar eclipse, brings with it a sense of what was there, what you felt, what you saw. All of a sudden, you see it very differently. And this can bring with it sudden change, sudden closure. However, here's the thing. There is some feelings of inconvenience here, some frustration, but for the most part, the energy is incredibly fortunate. And it suggests that, yes, things are changing. They may take you by surprise, but very quickly you get to the delight and the empowerment of this time. And so first, let's talk about what's tough with this. And that is Saturn across the sky from this eclipse. And that is following the rules, feeling restricted, maybe even feeling as if a boss or person in position of authority isn't being fair to you in some way. And that's not easy. It can feel as if someone that you don't even see that way is acting like the boss of you. And it can feel as if it's affecting your understanding of what you are to do where it comes to your career, where it comes to your direction. And so while certain dynamics can feel restrictive, or there might even be in some cases a sense of a power struggle, change is afoot. Certain roles might feel like they come to an end. And it's also possible here that a boss or other person in a position of authority leaves your organization very suddenly where that applies. However, here's the thing. Uranus is speaking in supreme harmony with this eclipse. I love this energy for you. Uranus is moving through a part of the sky for you that has to do with your daily life, your work life, your clients, customers, coworkers. It has to do with what you're actually doing and what you do well and what you repeatedly do. And so here we have an energy of expertise, providing breakthroughs where it comes to changes in career, tapping into the power of what you do well and wanting to do it even more, or maybe do it differently. But that's where the luck is, and it contributes to a sense of success. But what we also have is, well, we've got Mars speaking in harmony with this eclipse. And Mars is moving through a part of the sky that has to do with change, transformation, but it also has to do with wealth. It has to do with power moves that lead to abundance. And this can be emotional wealth, spiritual wealth, but of course it's financial as well, being able to access resources or benefits or loans or grants and so on. These energies end up playing out in powerful ways for you now and going forward from here. They play out in ways that invite you to consider what it is to be grounded in a sense of knowing that there's something you're here to do. Whatever that might be, as part of the mystery, even through the uncomfortable moments, you are aligning with it more and more. And that's really what's happening here now. There is an energy of change. For some Sages, out of nowhere, it might feel like there are endings very quickly, and yet it might be exactly what you need to welcome in new beginnings, to welcome in change that feels positively enlivening. For the most part, though, the part of the sky that is very lit up for you this month is the heart part of the sky that I spoke of at the beginning of this video. It is going to be the day after the lunar eclipse that we have Mercury standing still and going retro. It is going to be Mercury that stands still in the sky at a very precise point called 9 degrees of Aries. So the sky comprises of 12 signs. Each sign is divided into 30 degrees, and that makes for 360 degrees all the way around the zodiac. The sun travels 1 degree every day. That makes for a full year, 360 days a year. Now, having said that, it is going to be at 9 of Aries that we have Mercury station. And it is going to be on the 29th of the month that we are going to have a solar eclipse at 9 of Aries as well. This is phenomenal. This is just so exciting to me. The happenstance of it all, the perfection of the universe of it all. Whatever happens with Mercury station is going to link to, in some cases, very clearly linked to what happens at the solar eclipse towards the end of the month. But it is Mercury retrograde after all, which means that once Mercury goes direct, and in particular, once we navigate further on into April, whatever takes place in the middle of this month might be seen differently in some way. But for all that, this suggests that the seeds are planted for the new beginnings, especially around the middle of the month. And this just might be a very lucky break that feels like it comes back around in some way. And so this part of the sky having to do with the heart, it has to do with gambling and windfalls. Now, I would invite you to be careful with that because Mercury is retrograde. It tends to not be an out of the blue kind of windfall we talk about here, but rather more practical opportunity that comes back around, like you get another shot at a lucky break. However, with the eclipse, that eclipse is speaking in harmony with Pluto and in harmony with Jupiter. And that suggests strategy, especially with that Plutonian energy. Your instincts being strong and supporting an understanding of where you're going and what you're really wanting. And so that solar eclipse is new beginnings. And that can bring with it new opportunities to align with what it is you really want to do, what it is that's going to make you happy, opportunities to share your creativity and for creative fulfillment, or just some silly fun that ends up being positively transformative for you. But that's not all. On the 30th of the month, Neptune is going to move into this part of the sky as well. And I want you to consider that since 2012, we've had Neptune moving through the foundation of your chart, having to do with your past, your living situation, your family of origin, and your parents in particular, where that applies. And this brings with it a spiritualization. Wherever Neptune goes, it isn't necessarily an energy of clarity. In fact, it's kind of the opposite of that. It brings with it illusion, sometimes delusion, sometimes disappointment, sometimes elation, and a feeling of magic as well. And so we have those energies playing out here, and yet at the same time, we have Neptune on the move. Neptune now moving into that heart-oriented part of the sky spiritualizes the voice of the heart. You are getting a taste of energies we're going to dive into much more fully next year. In fact, it's going to be on the 30th of the month that Neptune changes signs. We'll be here to the 22nd of October, at which time Neptune will retrograde back into the foundation of your chart. And then just in time for Valentine's Day of 2026 is when Neptune will move back into that heart part of the sky and moves that much more comfortably into a 13-year cycle. I kid you not, it is a long transit we have coming up ahead. And we are at the very beginning of it. And this brings soul and heart together in ways that are just undeniable. It makes gambling losses more likely, I'm sorry to say, because you're just not seeing those risks clearly. But it does make for aligning your own healing journey, your own creative journey with what it is that ultimately could bring you great gains. Where it comes to matters of love. So all of this speaking to heart is romance, flirtation, and what the heart wants. And if all of that wasn't enough, at the very beginning of the month, Venus in this same part of the sky goes retro. I kid you not. So it's like the universe is saying, bring all of yourself to this one area of life. And what area that is different depending on the person. But yeah, for you, this is about you paying attention to what the heart wants. And that is ultimately an individual journey. When I talk about romance, flirtation, and love, I'm not talking about partnership. That's the give and take. That's considering another person. I'm not talking about intimacy and bonding with another. Again, that's taking someone else into consideration. It focuses on the sharing. I'm talking about you and the flutter and the excitement and the joy of wanting a heart awakening. And Venus retrograde season magnifies the energy of love that much more. For you, it's going to magnify passion a whole lot. In fact, it is going to be on the 21st of March that Venus here will connect in harmony with Pluto. Lots of sultry energy at play, I'll tell you. Lots of it in spades, as they say. Now, it will be on the 28th that Venus will retrograde out of this part of the sky, moving into the foundation of your chart. Next month, Venus does go direct, and it is a powerful, big dose of truth kind of direct energy we're going to have. I'll be here to talk about it every step of the way. Know that there is a Venus retrograde special horoscope, one for each sign in the Superstar space or on my website, and all of those links are below. But besides that, I will be here to talk about it as we go along month to month here on YouTube as well. Here, as we explore what these powerful energies are going to mean for you. But yeah, Venus retrograde, and especially Venus retrograde in that heart part of the sky, is really big for bringing the desire for love to the surface, the voice of love to the surface. So for those of you open to meeting someone new, look, I should say this, besides if you're open to meeting someone new or not, breakups that happen with Venus retrograde here tend to not stay broken up. And this energy of a Venus retrograde here is remarkable for bringing back past lovers, not past partners. This is about lovers. This is about people you dated. Or maybe you dated a bit, but you weren't really sure and you just kind of lost touch. This is where reunions and reconnections can happen, especially with Venus retrograde here. But for all that, connecting with new people, very possible here. But just remember, what you think it is and what it actually is could end up being really different. As I said, at the end of the month, Venus leaves this heart part of the sky, gives you a chance to look at your past differently, to root yourself in a more steady energy throughout March, particularly in the month of April. And then in May, Venus moves back into this heart part of the sky, and you are going to see whatever transpired in the month of March very differently once we get into May. And so Could be better, could not be. Pace yourself and be yourself, because a lot depends on your unique journey with the new people you meet now. For those of you just starting to date someone, powerful energies here. And in the context of dating, there's a sense here of wanting to, at the one hand, enjoy this person, spend time with this person. In fact, dating tends to kind of go through the roof. There's a lot more activity with the Venus retrograde here. It might be with this person or someone else. But as I said, breakups that happen tend to not stay broken up. And whatever you think is taking place during the retrograde, you get to May and you just might see it very differently, perhaps even better. And for those of you in an established bond, well, what is love for you? What do you need to feel loved? What awakens your heart for you or not? That is part of what stirs for you at a time like this. For all that, though, where it is that your relationship is good, there's a spirit of fun, a profound heart connection that starts to feel more evident to you. But where it is you've had real doubts as to whether or not this is someone to navigate forward with, your answers are going to be found in the past, reconciling the past you have with this person and maybe even the past before then. Reconciling, forgiving. Can you do that or not? And if you do that, does that mean you can navigate forward with this person or not? You're going to find those answers in April. And what love is for you becomes that much more clear in May. And then you'll understand what it is that you might want to do next. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I'm going to say, I really love that eclipse that takes place at the end of the month, the solar eclipse, bringing fortunate new beginnings. And that eclipse is speaking in harmony with your ruling planet, Jupiter, making it that much more a significant energy for you. And it's speaking in harmony with Pluto, which concentrates its energy that much more as well. But it's all part of adding to the power of heart. That really is where a lot of the focus is right now. So trust your heart to lead you to positive change in just about every area of life. But it is heart now that is so strong. It'll lead you to good places. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership Rate at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded exclusive video scopes for each and every sign. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com or thefutureismagical.com. Links in the description below. And new programs are starting this month over at synchronicityuniversity.com as we're finishing off February. You can still choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class to learn from some of the most celebrated astrologers alive today. Learn more and sign up now. Links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.